In this video, I'm going to give my top tips what I wish I knew before studying anatomy. About a year ago, I started taking art seriously, and I drew this, and here's something I did recently. Once I learned these tips, my drawing skills significantly improved, and hopefully I can help make anatomy seem less complex and also aid in you seeing improvement 10 times faster than I did. Tip 1. Anatomy isn't that important. I know that sounds contradictory, but hear me out. When you're learning to draw people, and especially if your goal is to create characters like myself, you would probably put anatomy at the top of your list of things to learn. While it does have some importance, there are other things I believe you should prioritize. These are 1. Gesture, 2. Form, 3. Shape, and lastly 4. Anatomy. Now, I want to say I didn't come up with this list, but the wonderful artist QR Bits did. Essentially, when attempting to draw a person, anatomy should be the last thing you should consider. This list completely changed my way of thinking. When looking at a reference, it can look really confusing, especially when you're first starting to learn everything, because you're focusing on all the details. Everything seems important. But remember, simplification is key. While anatomy is very helpful when considering different body types and character diversity, it doesn't add to your joints if it looks stiff and lacks shape overall. This is why countless anatomy tip videos stress on doing gesture drawing, because it will definitely help prevent stiffness in your figures. You all should note when looking at a reference is that the person, object, or whatever you're drawing is a form. It's 3D and it's existing in a space. You need to be able to tell what angle whatever you're drawing is at, and this relates to perspective. This helps prevent your drawings from looking flat. If you want a more in-depth info about form, I did an entire video about it. With anatomy, breaking down the body into simple shapes makes it less complex because it's a lot easier to understand. The best way to get better at this is getting a ton of reference poses from the Holy Grail known to artists as Pinterest and draw over them in basic shapes. Ugo Josh actually has an anatomy video in which he does this, so I'll link it in the description. The point of this is to train your brain to do shape identification because with anatomy, as I said, simplification is key. But remember, when drawing, your priority should be 1. Gesture, 2. Form, 3. Shape, and lastly 4. Anatomy. I recommend writing this in the corner of your canvas when you're going to draw to remember what to focus on. Tip 2. Time yourself. If you're like me and suffer from perfectionism, this will be great for you. I have a tendency to focus on all the details, a habit I'm aiming to break this year. Doing time drawing sessions is really forcing me to break this habit, and it's training me to develop more line confidence. I have no choice but to be decisive with my lines, otherwise I wouldn't have a drawing at the end of the session. I also tell myself that this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just practice, and that's how you get better. I usually just choose images of Pinterest I like of my favorite characters and draw them from different angles. I think you can make this fun by choosing images you want. Doing this will help improving your speed and accuracy with anatomy. This is because you're training your brain to focus on what's important. Tip 3. Everything adds up. I want to say all the studies, copies, gesture drawings, anything you draw for the sake of improvement will aid in you reaching where you'd like to be. While I haven't been as effective as I would like with my art journey in terms of my progress, I've realized everything I've done up until this point has allowed me to improve. It has allowed me to get closer to my goal. That's why I think it's really important you keep all your drawings, even the bad ones, the failed attempts. Even if you just manage to draw a poorly disfigured person a specific day, keep it. When you look back, you'll actually see that you're improving. I've only just realized that I didn't save many of my bad drawings, and I wish I did. Trust me, even if you feel like you're wasting your time, it's all adding up. Tip 4. Copy other artists. I'm sure you've heard this advice from countless other art videos, but it's true. The videos I have watched, I haven't heard anyone really give this particular advice with studying other artists, so I'll share it with you. One thing I started doing is looking at artists I admire speed paints or figure drawing sessions and slowing it down. On YouTube, there's the option to increase or decrease the speed of the video, and using that has helped me so much. I follow along with the slowed videos to build muscle memory. When you do this, you can see the decisions made by the artist, each line they place and why. Every artist has a different technique in drawing, anatomy, and when you do this, you're inputting their techniques into your brain. The more you practice this, you'll eventually start to realize that you'll naturally start to draw the body more like them. Before I continue, I want to say do not trace or copy another artist's work and claim it as your own. Always give credit, especially if you're posting something, but this is specifically for studying purposes for the sake of improvement. While anatomy does have a high level of difficulty, there are artists that have simplified and broke it down for you. They have literally given you a guide into drawing the human body, so why not use it? I would say try to do this with 2 to 3 artists as it gives you more diversity in approaching how to draw the human body. For example, some artists start drawing from the torso, other artists start drawing from the head, and then there are those that draw literally from any point of the body, which is god tier in my mind. Essentially, analyzing and following artists' techniques will help you improve your anatomy. Also, after doing this, you'll probably want to experiment with how you approach drawing the human body, and that's okay. The point of it is it's not to be tied to these artists' techniques and methods, but to use it as a stepping stone in your own improvement. Tip 5, draw from imagination. Now, I've only recently started doing this because, to be honest, I've been scared and I use references as a crutch. But one of my biggest art goals this year is to be able to draw the human figure somewhat accurately from imagination. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if I attempt to draw it, I want there to be little to no blanks in my mind. That's the point of drawing from imagination, to figure out what you don't know so you can go back and learn it. If you're just starting out, references will be your best friend. What I suggest is focusing on a specific part of the body, whether it's the head, arms, torso, etc., and drawing them from different angles. When doing this, you need to be present and not just mindlessly copying, because after you do that practice sessions, you're going to try to replicate it from your memory. Now, it may be hard, you may have a lot of blanks, and that's okay. The point is filling in those gaps of knowledge. You're aiming to improve, not to be perfect. Drawing from imagination will train your brain to better visualize the human body. It shows if you truly understand what you've been studying. I'm still bad at drawing from imagination, but I know with practice and dedication, it'll get easier and I will get better. Okay, so that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Bye bye.